I have decided to do a video about Canadian packaging and how Canadian packaging has both English and French on everything, and how it makes a lot of English Canadians sound like big fat idiots. First, I'm going to show you some examples of how our Canadian packaging looks. For example, cereal. Shreddies. I guess they're called Shreddies in French too, but here it says made with 100% whole grain wheat, and then it says it in French right underneath. I'm not going to read it in French because although my entire family speaks French, except for my brother and I, I do not. And I'm not good at pronouncing French words, and I don't want to make a fool of myself. And it says, oh, this is just the complete French side. Cheerios au chocolat, or chocolate Cheerios from the English side. Even on our movies. Office Space, and then it has it in French way down here. And Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. In the Deathly Hallows Part 1, there's the English part and there's the French part. And if you go to Quebec, it has the French part big and first and the English part second and small. Because most people in Quebec speak French instead of English. So the reason that I have started this video is because of what has happened to colored pencils. I have heard pretty much no one in Canada call colored pencils colored pencils. Everyone calls them pencil crayons. And I always just assumed, because everyone else was calling them pencil crayons, that they were called pencil crayons because they're pencils. They have the same kind of material that a pencil has, but they're colored like crayons, so they're pencil crayons. But no, the reason people call them pencil crayons is because they are reading the packaging wrong. It says colored pencils, crayon du couleur. It means colored pencils, pencils of color. They're reading the second half of the English and the first half of the French, and just crossing this part out and this part out. And they're like, oh, that says pencil crayons. No, it doesn't. That was just something that I realized, that people in the States, where they don't have English and French packaging, probably don't call them pencil crayons because it doesn't have the French part on there, and it probably just says colored pencils. And they just call them colored pencils. So if you're from a country that only has English on their packaging, you should make a video response or a comment below saying if you call them colored pencils or pencil crayons. Because if you call them pencil crayons too, then that means that you're calling them pencil crayons because they're like pencils and they're like crayons. But if you don't call them that, that's because English Canadians are stupid. And pretty much the real reason that I decided to do this video is because I work at Staples, and we have our big giant back-to-school bins everywhere throughout the store with back-to-school supplies in these big giant bins, and there's all these signs coming out of them that look like it's writing on chalkboard that say all the types of things that are in the bins, like calculators or erasers or paper, and there's a sign that says pencil crayons. And I was like, they're not really called pencil crayons, they're called colored pencils, as if an actual big corporation would get that wrong. Yeah. And that is all.